Let's Be Honest podcast, Modest podcast, Modest podcast. Oh, I'm tired now. Look at it, man. Boom. Let's Be Honest podcast, Modest podcast, Modest podcast. Never the saddest podcast. And today, not a new face to the show.
Yeah.
Not a new face to the show. You might do crazy things. The one immigration lawyer where we got to, and you supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Got to. Sekou, Clarke. What going?
Damn, man. Appreciate you for having me over again, man.
Naturally.
Much respect, man.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You know, enough look at immigration things are going on. We have to talk about the Buju case.
Yes.
First
yes,
and
the
foremost.
hottest thing right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like for the people them where get deported, is there hope for them? Is there a redemption story for them to get back in the United States like a Buju Banton?
As any lawyer would say, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. Like, honestly, if we keep it 100, if you have CMR similar charges as Buju, I would let it go. Unless you have a Grammy.
So yeah, you mentioned that in the last episode, although them get a phone call.
Yeah.
What about the Grammy? Because we know even, no, like we know people who are Grammy nominated who don't even have the privilege of getting a work visa.
True.
Like, let's say a Beanie Man, Bounty Killer has been Grammy nominated as well. You know, there's probably more, I'm not click off at the top of my head. But then we'll see a man like Sizzler get back him thing too.
Yeah.
So, what are specifics with them look for with the Grammy thing?
All right, so like when somebody wins a Grammy, it's the same thing as somebody winning an Olympic gold medal. It's the same as somebody winning an NBA title or something like that. It shows U.S. immigration that you are elite. You are the 1% in your field, and those are the type of people that they want in the U.S. So when you have a person like that now, they weigh, all right, the benefits that this person is going to bring to the U.S. versus looking at their history and their background, which may not be as credible. But is the person violent? So they wait. Are you going to have an impact into the U.S. versus your criminal history, your criminal background? So they weight on a scale, and typically a person with a Grammy or a high achieving person, they will get the nod.
Okay.
Yeah. But as I said to you over the phone, I said there are 3 different ways that he could have been let back into the country.
So yeah, so what other 2 now?
So the first way I said, which is the typical way that we do, it's called a non-immigrant visa waiver, right? So that means you lost the visa, and the waiver is basically you're asking the US government for forgiveness to get back into the country. You have rehabilitated your character, etc., etc. The second one, which is a pardon, you can get some type of governmental pardon by a president or a high-ranking US official.
But that would be public?
Possibly. And last but not least, and I said this on my channel, you know, it may be an unpopular road, but it's very, very viable, and it's called an S visa.
What's that?
So an S visa is designated for individuals who have been the witness to a crime, or they are helping the US government to prosecute somebody for a crime.
Okay. And then for the people them over there who them probably around some time, them get sentenced, right? And then both get released, but to realize that them don't touch back down in Jamaica. What's the only way them could have be over there? So
you're saying if somebody who's serving time,
their visa are green card, not a citizen.
Okay.
And then
are they out of status?
Yes.
Okay, so them not have status. All right, and they want to.
Well, no, them have status. Okay. Let's say them have status. Let's do both scenarios. Them have status and them don't have status. And they're not deported. Why aren't they deported?
Honestly, a lot of times it is the luck of the draw. It's the luck of the state, the county, and the particular facility that you got arrested. Because I've seen people, like I've had clients in Orange County in Florida who I've gotten off of gun charges, I've gotten off of possession charges, right? But then they're in Alabama and they get deported for domestic violence charge that has been dropped. They have been deported for driving without a driver's license. So it really just depends on the luck of the draw a lot of times, and the judge that you have, and again, the county and the facility that you're at.
Okay.
So it's really not that level. You know, it's really not that level. I mean, I've had clients who who rightfully should have been deported, but they were in the right place with the right judge and, of course, the right line.
No, this is popular case. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it because it's a very viral person.
Okay.
It's a young lady. I think, don't quote me upon this people, I think she crossed the border illegally.
Okay.
Isn't without inspection. But I think she married to her baby father, who's a US citizen, and she have a kid who is a US citizen as well. But then there was like some domestic violence between the both of them. I think she is the aggressor in the case. She got locked up and she has a big TikTok audience. And when the TikTok people them called to try to bond her out, they were like, you can bond her out, but I wouldn't bond her out because ICE is going to pick her up. We haven't heard from her since then.
Okay.
And I think, I don't want to tell you which county, but I know it's Georgia.
Okay.
What her case look like? What she needs to do for? Is it that the fact that she have a child in the States make her case any bit stronger?
So it just depends what has been filed, right? So if we're going based off of the facts that you share, right? So boom, if she did cross the border and she has an illegal entry and then she did get married to a US citizen, that means even though she got married to a US citizen, she still couldn't adjust her status because she has an illegal entry.
All right, I suppose it's a case of asylum.
Well, if it is asylum, well then she has a viable relief that they can't deport her for. But there's also something called VAWA, right? So
with the Violence Against Women?
Violence Against Women's Act. So, I mean, we don't know if she filed that, because if she filed that, it would waive her illegal entry, right? And it would give her a basis to be in the US and even later on file for a green card. But if she now has a domestic violence case where she is the aggressor, a lot of times the immigration court, them going to wait to see what the criminal state court will do. So if the case is pending, they might just hold her, and it may be a good tactic to not bond her out yet, because then, you know, ICE may get her if she does not have a status.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just really depends on what her representative, what her immigration attorney is doing. Because I mean, I've had people before where the person is in custody and they have a pending criminal charge and the family wants to bond them out. And I was like, hold off on the bond, right? Don't bond them out yet. Let us resolve the criminal issue first. So we know if the case is going to be a misdemeanor, a felony, is it going to be dismissed? Because if it's a felony, then boom, you know, it's automatic ICE. But if we can get it dropped to like a misdemeanor or get it dismissed, then we have a better probability to have them walk out instead of ICE come and grab them.
If you're an illegal immigrant,
yes,
educate the people them with certain cities that they would want to be in and certain cities that they should avoid. Because this one way I tell me, right? So the city, the state, the county, all of that 100%. Matters. So give me some place where you can say is more undocumented friendly.
All right, definitely New York. Definitely New York. New York is one of the very few states where even if you're undocumented, you can still get a driver's license and have a form of ID. In Florida right now, since Governor Ron DeSantis changed the laws, you cannot get an ID or a driver's license if you are undocumented. So Florida, no, under this regime, is not the best place. New York, 100%. California, 100%. And the further Midwest you go, because it's not heavily immigrant populated like Colorado as well.
Okay, Illinois.
And Illinois, they are more favorable. But the more red the state,
it's like the southern states.
Yes. Yeah. It's way more tighter where immigration is concerned and not as favorable.
And then this is an election here in the States.
Big, yeah.
How does that affect immigration? Because I'm hearing that marriage-based green cards are going too quicker than normal.
Definitely.
These days.
Definitely.
But why is that, and what we can look for certain changes or certain bills?
So I just saw candidate Trump release his first statement at Time magazine that his first order of business, if he's elected, is to remove 11 million immigrants from the states. First order, not anything with taxes, not anything with
crime
or anything. His first order of business, he said, is removing 11 million undocumented people. And I believe him, because what he did during COVID, he was trying to remove birthright citizenship. He was trying to remove U.S. citizen children from petitioning from their parents and using COVID as a tool to do that. So I 100% believe him. So with an upcoming election, I've seen we would file for naturalization for people to get the citizenship, and boom, 2-3 months. Where normally take 6, 7, 8 months. Green cards, it's a little bit faster depending on the jurisdiction. So they want as much people here as possible who can influence a swing, right? Influence a swing depending on the state. So it would be more favorable for the Biden administration to get more people naturalized, to get their family members here, to have a bigger support system, because Biden leans more to immigration. So the more favorable it is the more votes that he can get. So I've been telling people every consultation I do, I say, hey, it's an election year, so sort out yourself. Make sure you do it before November or before January, the inauguration.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever get a case and you say, yo, why don't you just go home?
Yeah.
Like, y'all go through too much. You already been through too much. You both go through some more. Why don't you just go home?
You know, it's. I rarely see a case like that where I'm like, man, just go home. The only time I say that is if it's somebody who is a repeat criminal offender, right? And there's nothing that I can do as an attorney for that person, but them still want to fight this, them still want to fight that. But I know what the end result is going to be. I'm going to tell them, say, yo, it's better you just cut the losses right now and go home. I want you to take no more of your money. I can tell the judge, just fast track this. Instead, you sit down behind bars, having your family, stressed out, them are paid this, them are paid that. Just go home, especially if I know the end result. So typically this will happen with somebody who has a lengthy criminal history and who is a repeat offender.
Yeah. I'm going to ask something about the Buju and Banton case. Is it because his crime was also non-violent and that play a part in it?
Honestly, no. I don't think the crime have anything to do with it. And I said, again, I want people to take from the option that I put on the table is look at all three and which one you think is more viable. Right? Because, again, in the 10 years that I have been doing immigration, I've spoken to my mentor who has been doing immigration for 30 years. I speak to my colleagues. They have never seen a case like this successful on a waiver, but through the other options, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the waiver for you kind of outside, based off history.
Based off precedents, but,
who knows?
Who knows?
That's it.
Who knows?
Now, with Jamaica having, like, my generation and younger kind of complain about the pay and the cost of living, because it's very expensive living in Jamaica. It's very, very, very expensive. How you feel about brain drain?
Brain drain, it is a domino effect. It is a reaction to the economy here. It's a reaction to the policies and decisions that have been made. So when you have an economy that is tightening up, right, where you have the middle class basically shrink to almost non-existent, the upper class is getting bigger, and then the working class is crazy expanding. I mean, you're going to see people getting highly educated, student loans, but no jobs, right? So what's the next step? They are going to leave. So, I mean, will it create a problem in Jamaica? In the short term, no. I mean, in our lifetime, no. I don't think it's going to create a problem, because you're always going to have the people at the top and their families that will continue to circulate, and the wealthy will get wealthier, right? So I don't really see it, brain drain right now in our lifetime, having a detrimental negative effect on Jamaica. Because, if 100 people leave, 20 people will come back and bring them knowledge and resources.
Yeah.
So why not, have Jamaicans be great all over the world?
Asylum. When you're granted asylum, can you return back to the country that you're quote unquote endangered?
All right, so while you're on, so once you're granted asylum, after a year, you can file for your green card, right? Then once you file for once you have your green card, you have 5 years to which you can now apply for a U.S. citizen. While you're on that green card or you're in asylee status, no, you cannot return. Have I seen people being turned back? Yes. Yeah. So typically,
So them go and try to re-enter.
Yeah, and so say for instance, somebody got asylum because of persecution that they face in Jamaica, right? And they got the green card as a result of the asylum. Then come Jamaica for vacation and try to come back in. That officer is going to say, see the green card and see the classification. Be like, you went to Jamaica. This is a violation. And sometimes they let them in, or sometimes they stop them and create a big issue about it. You know, and they may even lose that green card. You know, so I always tell people, if you are an asylee and you got your green card as a result of asylum, wait until you're a citizen to travel.
All right, so what is the case? And this is not me trying to find a loophole here.
Yeah.
What is the case? Let's say them transit through a Panama and then go Jamaica.
You know, I wouldn't even. I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You know, and I'm glad you brought up Panama, because one thing that I have noticed over the past year, especially since I opened the Jamaica office, right? So normally, if somebody lost their visa or they got deported, right, because they have a criminal history or whatever in the US, I'd always say, well, you will always have problems getting into Canada and the UK because those three, they share the same system, so they see everything that you do. Now I've been seeing a lot more Jamaicans who have had criminal history or infractions in the US, UK, or Canada being stopped and refused entry in Panama. So it seems to me now that Panama is sharing the same system.
Okay, I'm here to Panama. I hear Panama is one of the first places people go when they're going across the border in Mexico.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
That's one of the places. But Panama is now clamping down on Jamaicans and Mexico as well. Yeah.
So even when you go to Mexico, it's like a different type of interrogation.
Yes, definitely.
So I imagine you try to go there with it. Go say, one go Tulum or Cancun, the man say, no, man, cut ya, LA, you try to go, you can't treat me.
Exactly.
Now, your Kingston office,
yeah.
What kind of services on offer? Is it just for the US or do like Canada and the UK as well?
No, so as of right now, it's only the US. As of right now, only the US. And one thing that we've been offering, which has been very helpful to professionals, is we're not only dealing with just the immigration side. So now I have a lot of clients who, if they want to start a business in the US, right, we're able to assist them with finding loans, being able to set up their business or find a business for them to invest in, get them bank account, tax person. So get a whole business up and running, even find employees for them from start to finish. So a lot of Jamaicans have been taking advantage of that, because you have some people who love Jamaica, you know, they have done well for themselves. So they want to have the flexibility to go back and forth, but earn US dollars. So we've been doing a lot of that with setting up businesses for them, finding businesses for them, franchises to invest in as well.
The other day there was a plane, a chartered plane that landed in Jamaica. So you get the whole, what's your take on that? You think it's just like slapping each on the country if you even admit them and put them up in our hotel?
I mean, I've seen conflicting stories, you know, because I've seen the government say, they came out and made a statement that they did have the proper paperwork, everything was authorized, and the people actually prepaid for the hotel, but only 2 passengers did not. They weren't on the manifest. But then I hear other stories that none of that is true. And for me, it just looks like slackness. You know, how if I have a plane full of people, 218 people, I mean, to me, it could not have been random. The people had to have known, because in order for a plane to hit a route from that far, they have to be communicating from early. They have to get the route from the towers. It's not something where them can just randomly just pull up and just stop. So somebody's covering up something, in my opinion. Somebody isn't sharing something. And then for like the hotel, what's the name of the hotel?
Rock.
Yeah, the Rock Hotel. I mean, I've been to the Rock Hotel. It's $40 for a drink. $40 US for a drink. So for them to go into that type of hotel, I mean, something in something, you know, because I remember even the way how them deal with the Haitians, them, even, you know, I remember the time during COVID when there was a plane coming in with Jamaicans, and they never put them up in a nice hotel, them lead the people them away.
I think we have like a cruise to at one point.
A cruise ship as well,
when
yeah.
It's a dock for the longest.
Exactly. So then now, I mean, if you look at COVID, right, and the people coming in and they stop them and they say, well, they have to stop them and lead them away and isolate them because it is a threat to national security, right? So now if you have a plane allegedly coming in with random people, you don't know anything about them, there's no immigration check. I mean, to me, that is a threat to national security. So if that is the real case,
and then on top of that, they weren't supervised. They just dip on the road and walk up and down and down.
Exactly. And it's coming from where? India and Dubai or something
like
that?
So India, stop Dubai, then come out Jamaica. Something like that.
I mean, to me, I mean, based on what they put out, I mean, that seems like that is a high risk for national security. You know, and I feel like there need to be more information shared as to exactly what happened, because you know what is good for the puss should also be good for the dog. You know, so there does need to be transparent as to what happened.
Dancehall artists, right?
Yeah.
We've always seen the struggles, or them express the struggles with getting a visa.
Yeah.
Why? Let's say an artist not even as established. Why he can't get a visa? Or is it that he can get a visa and he just doesn't know he can get a visa?
I think it's both. You know, I think it's both in terms of the education or just the knowledge that, you know, if you are performed in other countries, right? If you are performed in Canada or in the Caribbean, I mean, you are favorable to get a visa because the standard that they use for artists is international recognition, right? Which is you have performed, you are in need in other countries. So, I mean, a lot of artists can get that visa, but then again, you also have artists who also have a history, who also have an immigration history, right? And they are now seen as high risk, especially if them a bust big yet, like say them go a couple countries, right? And they are doing well, you know, them have some streams on YouTube and thing, them perform at some fest, but they have also previously got denied for a visa or made misrepresentation, tell lie for trying to get a visa, then they will have issues. And then also the culture as well that I've learned since I've started doing a lot of artists, right? There's a culture where, you know, with the P1 visa, so the P1 visa is for a band, it's for a group. So if you have one main artist, that artist can have like 10 other people come in as part of them, crew, engineers, setup, where. So the culture that I've realized that has been created is that you have man who aren't even really a part of the crew. So
just want a visa.
Exactly, just want a visa and then get a bus. When I not that, but if that person says the wrong information to immigration, like if he's coming in and them ask the person, I see you're coming on this date, where's the primary person for the visa? And that person don't do the maths right. Well, everybody else gonna get screwed.
Oh, that you know, what's crazy is now I say I wish DJ, this jockey, in terms of somebody that traffic illegal narcotics on a visa and it mash up theme visa. Yeah. The whole group visa. Is that's a thing?
That is a thing. And then what now happens is that now immigration look for tendencies, right? So because they see tendencies 5-10 years where artists are coming in and them have 10 people on them visa, then if them let in 10 artists, right, and half of them have people on the visa who aren't even part of the show, right? Now, the other people that come in after them, they're going to scrutinize it more. They're going to scrutinize it more and more and more.
So if somebody run off on it, on the visa?
It happens all the time, you know? So if somebody...
Is the artist in a problem too? The main artist?
So a lot of time, the main artist the primary artist won't really get bite. It's the secondary people on it. Because the main artist, they can easily well just Google and say, well, the main artist was at this show, and the main artist is typically more responsible because them, you know, their careers at a higher level, so them travel in and out, they won't overstay.
Yeah, and what's that thing about in transit? They can't in transit with a work visa. I've heard that term before, but I never really Get the gist of it.
So, I mean, in transit, meaning you cannot like travel through the US or just go to the US without there being a show, without there being an act.
Okay.
You cannot just go up on vacation on a work visa, but no, it's going to be called a misuse.
Okay.
You can't just, as you said, in transit. So if you have a O1, a O2, or a P2, P3 visa, and it's based on an artist, the correct way is to travel when that artist is traveling. But no, you have a misuse. No, you are transit just for vacation, and it is not a B1, B2 visa.
All right, so now, I'm an artist, I'm a visitor, B1, B2, right? I'm there, and somebody put me on a flyer. They don't pay me or nothing. Then put me on a flyer, I'm going to sing 2 tunes. Is that taking a risk, or is that just like nothing crazy?
No, man, that is taking a risk. That is 100% taking a risk. Well, what I've seen in the last, post-COVID, immigration has stepped up in terms of watching social media and biting up people that way, right? They look at socials, them look at them things, and they connect people. So you did that show, right? And they didn't find out, right? But then somebody went to the show who came in, who they're entering in the country, and them asking them the questions, and then bring them to secondary inspection, and them search them phone, and them say, you want the flyer in them phone. That's how they link everything.
Okay.
And then grab it back. And this is off topic, but just to show you how immigration is now getting more sophisticated. The girls them who have OnlyFans page, they're starting to pick all of them one by one and cancel them visa and constitute it as prostitution.
Word, the OnlyFans girls in Jamaica and the Caribbean, overall, outside of the US.
Overall, yes, it has been a big. I'm getting more and more cases, or if they're on any type of website. So immigration is now checking those websites, and they're collecting a database for if you're selling sex, or if you're
selling a fantasy, a dream.
Selling a fantasy. Them having a database now, and once your name pull up, because it works twofold, because they're doing it, one, for human trafficking as well, but they're also looking for the prostitution as well, which is a quick way to lose your visa. And I've seen many.
Yeah, I know a lady who lost her visa through prostitution, but I don't think she was a prostitute. I go on the record and say she was not a prostitute. But when them check her phone, it's like she beg everybody, and everybody I beg her back sex in return. So even one man who is our alleged cousin, they must say, oh, your cousin I try.
Yeah.
Right. They say, you know what? All I cancel.
Yes. Yeah, man.
All I cancel.
Yeah.
Now for the people that will get cancelled visa upon trying to at a border, what are the chances of them getting re-entered back in the country?
I'd say 40%.
Okay, but that's happened though.
It has happened. If you have shown that, one, you have established major ties to your country, like Jamaica, your home country, show that you have land, you are in school, you have a really good job, you've gotten accolades, you don't have a criminal history, you're a contributing person to society, they will give you a shot again. I've seen it happen, but again, it's less than 50%, it's 40%. So, a lot of times the visas will get canceled. The main things I see people visa get canceled for, Jamaicans specifically, is one, if you're overstayed, and two, if they think that you are working, or three, if you lied on a previous visa. So towards the end of last year, there was a big investigation in Jamaica, because there was one particular agency here that was giving out visas like that. Right? They had somebody.
What do you mean an agency?
So a travel agency here, somehow either had a connection to the embassy. So everybody who applied everybody, people who had criminal history, people who visa got canceled. So what they did, they go back and look at everybody who came to that agency and cancel all of them visas, so that they knew that it was for
some of that wickedness.
Yeah. So
you say the link ain't really such a good link in the end of the day.
No, because once they see that you lied on a visa application, it's almost like a death sentence with trying to get back a visa again.
Yeah, even green card application. 'Cause
Yes.
I remember when I did an interview and the man asked me if I work before. And I said, no. And the man I said, did you ever work before? Anything at all to make at least $1. And I said, yeah, YouTube. I said, all right, put that down.
Yeah.
You see me? And they asked me if there's a question, I'm going to put no from sure I put yes. Like, I asked me if I overstay or something, so I'm putting no. And I say, yo, this is not the place where you lie.
No.
This is not the place where you tell a lie.
No. And, as he lies, I think I said it last time, as he lies, come back and catch people. Like, you could lie on your B1, B2 visitor's application, especially, and like the most common one is you lie that you either have a child or not, or that you're married or not, right? So then you enter on the B1, B2, you transition to our green card, everything good, then you apply for your citizenship, then that's when them circle back and say, hey, you made a huge misrepresentation 10 years ago on your B1, B2 visa. Now you are exposed to one, your citizenship getting denied, and then two, they're stripping you off the green card, and I'm seeing that more as well.
Again, I have a case. Well, I have a case, I'm a liar, but I know a case where a lady, she didn't marry for papers, if I keep it real. You see me? She didn't marry for papers, and her husband didn't marry for papers too. But the husband don't get him citizenship. So she now got a file now for get her citizenship, right? And them run it back. And like them must say, all right then, when you did married to Mr. Clarke, you did buy a house with Mr. Bennett.
Yep.
That don't make no sense. And them tell her that she cannot naturalize.
Yeah.
Like she'll have a green card forever.
Exactly. And I mean, she's fortunate that they never take with a green card. So like that's what I started to know. When I have people who contact me to represent them for naturalization.
You want the whole story.
Yeah, I need the whole story. And if I feel like them lying to me, I tell them, I say, look, if you're not going to keep it real with me, if you're not going to tell me the full story, I'm not going to take a case. I'm not going to represent you. Because for one, I don't want to go in at a court or in front of an immigration officer and look like a fool. Help me so I can help you. So when I look at the case and look at the history of the case, sometimes I advise them and say, look, it don't make sense you apply for a naturalization. We're not going to take your money because it is going to put you at risk to one, get denied and possibly lose your green card.
So they just go on with the green card.
Just go on with the green card, stay out of trouble and just renew.
I get you. Well, I'm not really have much more questions for you still. But you have one question somebody big one for asking. Yes. Them they want you to re-explain the whole you being a worker in the States and like having special talents. Like how does that, what are the qualifications for that? How long it take? You have to show taxes, what you have to show? So it's like an artist.
Okay.
Let's say an artist been a tour in the States, but he want adjust his status.
Okay. All right. So you have two different ways. So you have the artist and then you have the person that is highly educated, right? So the artist can transition to an EB1 visa, which means you have to show that you have extraordinary ability. Extraordinary ability means that you have to show that one, you've gotten awards, you performed at high-level shows, you are well-known, and you have gotten some type of national award as well. So that artist now can transition from their O visa or their P visa to an EB1 visa. Now that process, if they're in the US, it's called an adjustment of status. They can do premium processing where they can get back an answer in 2 weeks. So that whole transition.
So you got a yes or no answer?
A yes or no answer in 2 weeks, and then adjustment of status. The total process can be 8-9 months.
Okay, and how long would they have to be in the US doing all these amazing work?
No, so it's not really length of time, it's really body of work.
Okay.
It's what you have achieved. Because you can have somebody.
So what about the earnings? Does the earnings play a part? Like you can say, look at my taxes. I file my taxes and I make over 150 a year and whatever.
Yeah, man. So for the EB1 visa, right, there are 7 criteria that you have to meet 3. Right? And one of that 7 is your remuneration. How much money you make. Are you making at the above average? So that's one thing that you can use. You can use awards. You can use if you've been a judge of your peers. Are you in magazines? Those are the type of things. So you have
certain
7.
companies you work for.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the other route is, if you are, say, like a professor, if you have a master's, if you're a high-level entrepreneur and you've had some impact in your field, like, if you're a top-level builder, then we can now do an EB2 NIW visa, which is a green card, right? So that's a green card for entrepreneurs. But you have to have had some making.
But both
some
of them
type
are
of
green
impact.
cards, or the EB1
Both,
and the EB2.
The EB1 and the EB2, they are both green cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, now, how long before them can naturalize?
So once you have your green card, 5 years.
Okay.
5 years for the green card. Yeah.
All right.
But I did want to bust up 2 myths that I see people going around, and I say a lot of immigrants getting super chopped with that. There's no such thing as an amnesty, meaning that if you have been in the US undocumented or illegal for 5 years or working illegal for 5 years, that you can apply for a green card. No such thing. If somebody bring that to you, they're trying to take your money, right? And the next thing, just because you're working and paying taxes or have an ITIN number, individual tax identification number, it doesn't entitle you to an immigration status. And last but not least, if you're out of status, right, you cannot just get back in status by filing a document, right? And I say a lot of document preparers profiting off of people's hope because of that misinformation.
All right. When the people can find you, and for the people that locally and international, where them can find you as well.
You can find me at Clarke Law. That's a handle for Instagram, TikTok, or you can find me at Attorney Sekou across any platform, IG, TikTok, YouTube, and you can always call at 407-295-2138.
And the local office address?
And the local office address is 34A Lady Musgrave Road.
All right.
Or just go on the website, clarkelawgroup.com.
Respect again.
Yes.
Remember, we go through the immigration struggle. Listen, me never go one case still. It wasn't that crazy. I never need a lawyer. But it's always good for have a lawyer. Trust me. And that's to me read a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot of Reddit. A lot of Reddit. So, but I trust myself. I go there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not for 10 a lie. If I don't know our mother name, I just don't know our mother name. You see me? But let's be honest, we're gone.